you, the you that says my arm, my legs, and it also says my car, my bike. These are all physical things. So the you that points to these things, what is it? I would assume that this part, since it's physical, is governed by the law of attraction. Hi, welcome to this video where I'm going to be sharing with you my 2 cents on spirituality and how I make sense of it. But first, I wanted to talk about this principle that is one of the first ones introduced in IT, which is information technology. And we're right now living in the age of information and technology. And that thing is binary. How there isn't only one base of numbers, that there's infinite ones. So humans decided to count until 9 and then restart counting because we have 10 fingers. But actually, you can count to numbers lower than 10 or higher than 10. For instance, there is the unary base, which was used by cavemen, where they write dashes on walls instead of numbers because the conventional numbers weren't a thing back then. There's also bases above 10, so you count to 9 and you add other symbols after 9. But the base that I wanted to talk about is the binary one. It's the language of processors and transistors, which by having only two states, 0 and 1, on and off, you can do addition, resolve complex problems, do all sorts of stuff that nowadays computer can do simply by using two numbers. And so I mentioned this to show you the power of contrasting. Now, how we're going to start this layout where I'm going to explain how I understand spirituality is by attributing 1 to one column, the one on the left, while the one on the right we're going to attribute it 0. So lights on when there's 1, lights off when there's 0. Just like IT. When we speak about light, we know that it's the fastest thing on the universe. So basically it travels really fast. Compared to it, if I move my hand as fast as I can, it's still nowhere near the speed of light. We're going to say that this part is moving while this part is constant. Okay, so if you're approximating speeds of light, you are basically time aware, whereas if you're only constant, you're not aware of time and you are timeless. This principle can be understood in many ways, one of which you can even imagine that light sees space more dynamic than something that's constant. Light is more aware of the movement of space. So again, light is more time aware than something that is constant. And that is a very important part of this layout, which is time. And so this part again is focused on the present, while this one is focused on the past, the future, and including that memories and dreams. Moving on, we're going to give consciousness the simple definition of being in the present, being time aware, whereas subconscious is the complement of that, which is the stuff that you're actually not conscious of. So on the left, this is the part that is awake, while on the right, the part that is asleep. On the same lines, awakeness resonates with life and being alive, while sleep resonates with death and death. Dead and death. Okay, so abstraction contrasted with things that are material, and even more than that, we've got spirit and mind. So when we're born, our mind is empty, and we learn through designations, contrasting things, just like we're doing right now in this video. That's the way the mind learns, while the soul and the physical body has been in here since creation. So you can say that even the soul, which I know might be linked to something that should be on the left column, but is in the right because the soul has been in here since creation, since even us being born, and will remain here after our death. So the soul and the physical body are both timeless and they're related to the subconscious. The part on the left is about unveiling the truth, is about approximating the truth, seeking the truth, while the part on the right is about knowing the truth. It's not about knowing, it actually knows the truth. It is somehow the truth. And another thing is that the part on the right is unemotional. So think of it like a statue. It's actually dead. And I would go as far as to say that even a part of your physical body is dead. So where is the limit between the part of your physical body that's alive and dead, you might ask? Are your nails alive? Are your skin and flesh alive? Where's the limit? I would say that most of your physical body is dead. What I mean by physical body in the first place, you've got the heart, the brain, but usually the brain isn't associated on the right side because it's mainly, even though it's physical, but it's associated with the mind, just like the nervous system. And so overall, your physical body, which is composed of your organs, inner organs, limbs, is contrasted with you, the you that says my arm, my legs, and it also says my car, my bike. These are all physical things. So the you that points to these things, what is it? I suppose that it's something that is on this side and it's related to light. It moves fast compared to this, and it's on the nervous system. So brain, veins, so on. It moves at the speed of light, or at least approximating the speed of light. And returning to it, this thing is emotional, so it's fidgety. Sometimes it makes prayers and whines about things that maybe it doesn't want. So, yeah, this part knows the truth and isn't emotional, while this one, not really. Again, this part knows how to speak, it knows how to use numbers, rational thinking. This part does not. It is silent, it is subtle, and I give you an example. So sometimes you might be having a dream where you're thinking you're having a conversation with someone, but when you're trying to remember that conversation, it's hard. So this part of the table doesn't know how to communicate well. It communicates through feelings and vibrations, which, by the way, I made a video on that. So again, this part on the left is about control, mind control, whatever sort of control, video games, while the part on the left is about release, letting go. You can see that these all tie up together. Here's another example of why the mind seeks control. So you've got dependent and conditional dynamics versus independent and unconditional dynamics. We all know that parents love their children supposedly unconditionally, and the reason to that is that they know for a fact that their kids are their own, from their own flesh. They're the same material, basically. But to the children, the parents are basically a concept. It can't be proved. So that's why the kids have dependent and conditional dynamics with their parents. They need to check if actually these are their parents. If my parents love me, they would buy me this toy. That's an example of a conditional dynamic between a kid and his parents. Moving on, we have that the part on the left is indeterministic and unpredictable, and that is what light is. You can resonate about that in many ways. If you take, for instance, a system that has only objects in it, you can basically predict where that system will land, approximate overall where it's going to end up. But once you add a human being to that system, You now have a system that has free will, and you can't predict where it's going to end up the same way. And that's just one way to view the unpredictability added with the free will. You can also say that light is unpredictable the way it behaves in quantum. Sometimes it is a particle and sometimes it behaves as a wave. And this is a part that I'm not quite sure about, but I would assume that, see, I'm using the word assumption, but I would assume that this part, since it's physical, is governed by the law of attraction. So everything that is in here knows where it's going to end up and knows what it wants. That's why there's the law of attraction here. While in here, there's a lot of unpredictability and like your imagination, the sky is the limit, so you can assume whatever you want, and that reality can exist. Okay, so now about frequencies. This part has low frequencies, and the purest frequency here is the frequency of death, which is the lowest. While in here, one of the purest frequencies that a human can have, which, as I just said, human, meaning light. So it's the frequency of light, and it's a high frequency. Okay, I'm just going to add up that this part is mostly masculine while this part is feminine. And the reason I say that is because languages are structured this way. You will find out that by paying attention to what concepts are masculine and what concepts are feminine, you will more understand this contrasting thing that I've done. And finally, the physical is this part, and the metaphysical is this part. And what I mean by the metaphysical is everything that is superstitious, magical, paranormal, stuff that can be explained. It is on this table, on this part of the column, while everything that's physical and palpable is in this place. Now you might say that we can't put the soul in a physical column, and I understand, but still, to me, there's qualities to the soul that pertain to this part of the table. So, yeah. But to conclude, we can say that everything that is in this part of the column is about light. Imagine it like a torch, which is lighting up space around it, or it's about remembering, recollection, while this part is about everything that was and everything there will be. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you on this layout. And probably there will be some mistakes, but you can't be spiritually correct all the time. I just think that there's a lot of stuff that I can make sense of based on this layout and a lot of topics that I can discuss. And so I wanted to share this one first before addressing those topics. Yeah, thank you for watching and see you on the next video, which will be about how we keep getting what we don't want and how to flip that.